Students who are supposed to be role models are actually messing around in their own classroom. Sigh then again, this is Class 12A. A little mischief is only to be expected. Such were the thoughts of a certain teacher currently standing outside the door. A battle was raging behind those classroom doors. The boys were scrambling to kick a small ball. Elsewhere, a few well-behaved boys were sprinting around the room after accidentally stirring up a hornet's nest. Another group was busy building a mighty star-folding association, though something felt off. Wait, why was Scorpio getting pummeled so mercilessly by Cancer? It's just a lesson on folding paper stars. Is there any need to be so aggressive? Regardless of the chaos, was anyone even noticing the lonely, abandoned teacher at the door? 10 minutes had passed, and not a single soul had realized he was there, nor had anyone bothered to return to their seats. Dark lines began to appear on the teacher's forehead as a murderous aura started to radiate from him. However, that aura hit a wall at the doorstep. The brats inside didn't feel a thing, in fact, their sheer noise completely drowned it out. After a moment of hesitation, Mr. Alluvium finally stepped into the classroom to begin the lesson. He hadn't even managed 5 steps when, thwack! A cute little makeshift ball flew straight into him. Realizing they had just committed a grave sin, the 12 students bolted back to their seats and frantically pulled out their books. Attempting to reclaim his dignity, the teacher marched to the podium and picked up a piece of chalk. Strangely, the chalk wouldn't leave a single mark on the board, while the class below erupted into laughter. Quiet! Anyone else who laughs is going down to the garden to scrub leaves or standing in the hallway with a chair over their head for the rest of the period. Mr. Arphiuchus barked a warning, but unfortunately, his voice was overwhelmed by the class's uproar. His fists clenched, and a thought flashed through his mind: I want to hit them, but I can't. The agony. Quiet. Driven past his breaking point, Mr. Arphiuchus tried to restore order, but it was futile. In the midst of that frenzy, a loud explosion suddenly echoed from somewhere, followed by the ground beginning to shake. The class trembled in fear. At the same moment, the school's PA system crackled to life. Announcement: a minor earthquake is currently occurring. Students are advised not to run outside or move to other areas. Stay calm and find cover under desks, chairs, or in corners to avoid falling objects. I repeat. Following the instructions, everyone quickly settled down and ducked for cover. The shaking continued for a few minutes before gradually fading away. Once peace returned, the class stood up and breathed a collective sigh of relief. But the drama wasn't over. They discovered Mr. Arphiuchus lying motionless on the floor, occasionally letting out a faint, ghostly whimper. Help me. All right, everyone. We can end the prank now. Virgo spoke up. Leo, what are you thinking about? Aries looked over at Leo, who was still sitting there with a puzzled expression, silent. Don't you guys find it strange? Pisces approached from the side. The light earthquake lasted for minutes and we didn't hear any loud noises during that time, but right before the ground shook, there was a sound like a loud, prolonged gunshot. That feels weird to me. You're right. I remember everyone was still laughing and Mr. Arphiuchus was trying to scold us back then. Libra added quickly. The room fell silent. Everyone's face turned solemn as they tried to find an answer, but with such limited information, it was hard to guess exactly what had happened. Bang! 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 The sound echoed once more. The entire class froze, listening intently to locate the source of the gunshots. Holden, Ari's voice made them jump. She walked toward the second row of desks where she sat, leaned down, and slowly pulled out her phone. Every eye in the room followed her in an unusually heavy silence. Sorry everyone, it was just my 8 a.m. alarm. It didn't get a response earlier. So it snoozed and went off again after 10 minutes. Hey. Guys, suddenly, I really want to smack her, Leo whispered. So what about Mr. Arthur lying here? We need to take him to the infirmary, Capricorn said, looking down at their teacher who was still passed out on the floor. Hey, it's not that serious. He probably just fainted from the alarm earlier. Since today is a special day anyway, why don't we put on a surprise performance? Gemini, the resident prankster, initiated the idea. Great idea, Scorpio replied, sounding genuinely interested. I've got an idea. After a moment of thought, Sagittarius blurted out. Let's put glue on the desks and chairs. Despite his enthusiasm, his friends' faces remained blank. He wanted to scream in frustration but stayed quiet for fear of getting beaten up, waiting for another chance. Then came Aquarius' turn for a stroke of genius. How about I use some heavy-duty laxatives too? Before he could finish, the faces around him didn't just remain blank, they actually grimaced. Aquarius thought, I swear, these people's faces are all paralyzed. Let's just draw something funny on him. Gemini suggested, sprawling across his desk before suddenly slamming his hand down in excitement. Too basic. Anything better? Pisces sighed, unimpressed. Unfortunately, he made a big mistake by criticizing Virgo's silent approval of the drawing idea. Capricorn, what do you think? Whatever works, Capricorn replied briefly. Then, why don't we go big? Sounds interesting. Sagittarius, Leo, Aries, head over to Block J to buy glue. Aquarius, Virgo, Capricorn, you're on explosive duty. Be careful with the mixture. Cancer, Libra, Pisces, you're in charge of artistic decoration. Scorpio, Taurus, and Gemini, prepare the sound effects. That's the plan, Virgo declared, taking charge after only 5 seconds of thinking. Being based in Block C and having to run across 5 blocks just to buy a bottle of glue. Sigh. Who was there to blame? It was all for the star's extraordinary performance. Think of it as exercise, they told themselves. But by the time they arrived, they were dizzy. Partly from the sprint, but mostly because the stationery shop was massive with thousands of items. What kind of glue should they get? Just paper glue is fine. Buy the transparent kind. After racking her brain, Aries finally remembered the specific type. They headed to the glue aisle, but life wasn't that simple. In a store this big, there were dozens of different types of glue. Unable to decide, they just grabbed one of every kind. The most important thing was the surprise factor. After paying, they sprinted back across the 5 blocks to the classroom. Meanwhile, gurgle, gurgle, gurgle. An ominous sound coming from the back of the lab gave everyone a bad feeling. In Capricorn's hand was a bottle of liquid that shifted from green to purple. It looked quite pretty, but who would have guessed it was part of such a devious plan? The first part is done. Now we just need to add some agents to reduce the pungent smell and turn the product transparent. Virgo noted meticulously as she supervised. As for Aquarius, he had tried to make laxatives in pill form, but failed, so he quickly switched to powder. 5 minutes later. Boom! An earth-shattering explosion erupted at the back of the lab. The culprit was none other than the brown-haired boy. Well, the truth was, while the other two were working hard, Aquarius accidentally mixed the wrong ratio of two solutions, leading to the result above. Fortunately, it was only a sonic explosion, so there were no physical injuries. However, it caused severe emotional damage. Because of the aftermath, Capricorn had to redo the final formula. She ended up mixing more solution than intended, causing the liquid to turn pitch black. Most notable was Virgo, who was standing right next to the blast. Her face was a kaleidoscope of emotions. One moment pale as a sheet, then turning purple and finally settling on a black that was even darker than the solution itself. Mr. Arphiuchus slowly opened his eyes after the recent panic. He tried to calm himself down, but failed. He promptly fainted again the moment he looked up and saw Virgo's face. Ignoring that incident, let's move to the four students who were huddled together, painstakingly applying makeup to the teacher. He was lying motionless on the podium, slowly being transformed into a pretty doll. Rewind a few minutes. Any ideas? After staring at his face and racking their brains, the group still couldn't decide how to make him beautiful. Libra asked for input, but all she got was a shake of the head from Pisces. Just draw whatever, as long as the result looks interesting. Cancer said, finally offering the kind of decision anyone could have made at the start. I'll go first then. Pisces picked up an ink pen, intending to draw some basic lines, but Libra stopped him. Inky's hard to wash off. Use my lipsticks. Pick a color and we'll take turns. Libra said, handing her lipstick case to Pisces. Admittedly, Pisces had good taste. After browsing through the colors, he pulled out an orange-red shade. Why can't I find anything that fits better? Pisces grumbled, rummaging through the bag. I think earthy red suits him, you guys just don't see it. Cancer remarked. 5 minutes later. It's taking too long. Hurry up. Pisces snapped, unable to wait any longer. His outburst startled Libra, who was busy comparing two shades. She screamed back, I'm almost done. Can you stop bothering me? During that time, Cancer applied a smooth layer of red lipstick to the teacher's lips, then used the same lipstick to draw circles on his cheeks, adding a few strange orange accents. Not stopping there, she dabbed foundation on his forehead and wrote the words Illuvium in giant letters using an eyeliner pencil. Turning around, she saw the two lipsticks Libra had dropped, picked them up to inspect them, and walked over to Libra, holding out a brick red one. This color is pretty. Why didn't you choose it instead of just standing there? And you, she pointed at Pisces, if you're tired of waiting, just go ahead and do your part. I'm almost finished. Just need a few more tweaks and some random details. Pisces didn't care anymore. He uncapped the lipstick, aimed for the upper right side of the teacher's mouth, and started coloring away. After being assigned their tasks by Virgo, Scorpio, Taurus, and Gemini had run to the warehouse to fetch sound equipment. They began setting up and adjusting various eerie sound effects. According to Mama Virgo, the final sound check had to be done with extreme care. If even the slightest mistake occurred, the sounds would trigger prematurely. And if that happened, these boys would be ground into dust by her. Where am I? The teacher suddenly woke up, sitting up and looking around the classroom. That's right. Those troublemakers again. Where did they all go? Click. To be continued.